In this episode, catching some waves, meeting a coast guard, doing some sailing, and painting the boat. Okay, so what are the news regards boat restoration? A seagull ate too many fries, I suppose. Was there anything else I needed to tell? Yes, we had some pretty strong winds lately, which managed to destroy the greenhouse of my boat. About the time to take it off anyway. You can see a dinghy on my steel boat as well. This is the only working water transport I have left. Well, to me it is looking okay. Even a random dog thought it is too strange boat. Sometimes we go on the lake with family. Sometimes I go alone to catch some waves in the sea while watching the kids sailing. It is a flat bottom boat, which you can easily get on a plane even with a 4 horsepower outboard. Of course, not in waves like this. Here you can only bounce up and down, riding from one wave to another, and remembering you forgot to take anything to get the water out of the boat. It is really fun. That is, until the 40-year-old dinghy motor decides to take a rest. But at least, then I can have an exercise of using oars to get back to the shore. Previously, I still had this converted lifeboat, Hakuna Matata, and I also went to see how the kids are sailing. What I didn't know is that my engine is about to overheat very soon, and instead of supporting my kids, I will be needing support very soon myself. And as the shape of the lifeboat, converted or not, is very prone to rolling, especially with waves from the side, I did roll a bit inside the cabin, along with anything that was left unsecured, while waiting for the Coast Guard assistance. Then I decided it is better to go with the sails, so I got an old vintage sailboat. However, for whatever reason, there was always some trouble with sailing as well. And no, your eyes are not deceiving you. You are really seeing spoons and a fork attached to that pole, and that was a quick solution of catching that getaway rigging line.
Yes.
The getaway line was caught, but that did not solve the other issues this boat had. It was in serious need for expensive and complex repairs to the wooden superstructure. That was the moment I realized that I will be happy about any wooden boat I will not be owning myself. The engine has an onboard Bristol air compressor, which is most likely the reason why the horns for the boat are air-powered. Before checking it, the expansion tank was removed and treated both, inside out with evaporust and various rust converters, and now it is time to check how it is working. After the air compressor tank was connected and engine was running for some time, I noticed that emergency air valve is not working as expected, and it looks like there is an extra moisture in the system. So I decided to check what is going on by disconnecting air supply line to the tank. Okay, a lesson to myself. Before disconnecting air compressor tank, make sure there is no residual pressure left. Okay, lesson learned. Nothing beats this precious moment when I have finally replaced the water pump, added some water in the tanks, and I'm ready to experience a flow of crystal clean drinking water. Well, let's just say water. Perhaps we have better situation in the galley. I am no longer sure if I have connected the pump to the correct tank at all, but in any case, time will tell. Okay, so as you can see, the fuel lines have been connected back to this 100-liter fuel tank. The sitting area is assembled back as well. And let me talk a bit about connections here. So this is the fuel line cap together with the vent. This is a separate fuel intake for central heating system. This is main fuel supply line, which is later split into feeding generator and also engine. And this is fuel return line here, as you are seeing. And of course, the vacant space is now taken by different type of chemicals, paints, etc. But that was expected here. An upgrade to the cooling system. The radiator now has two electrical fans, manually controlled. Both of them are pushing air out of the boat via ventilation openings. Despite the changing weather conditions, angry seagulls, and forgetting that the surface is freshly painted, the flagpost is looking better now. Before painting the boat, all the fittings and even surface of the boat in underwater area of the hull were filled with Belzona metal epoxy to prevent possible issues in the future. After it had dried and was sanded, a painting of the hull could eventually start. A painting party is the party none of my kids want to be invited, so you will not be seeing many happy faces here, but they did great on painting the underneath of the hull, where it is much harder for me to reach. You might be asking why you didn't see me painting anything. Come on, guys, someone has to film the process. We had no idea where the real waterline is, so we thought it is smart to leave it unmarked, launch the boat, and paint it next season, when we will see where it needs to be. And if the boat goes down, we would at least have saved some money on paint. And before you ask me, yes, that is my car and that is my boat. Size does matter. Still, even I am sometimes amazed how many things you can fit inside this small and tiny car. So far, it has been able to carry everything I need for the boat repairs, including even a swimming platform. The swimming platform was almost a full success until I decided to close the hatch at the back of the car, breaking the front glass. Some of you might be asking why you are not completing a full boat restoration before launching it into the water, and the answer is simple here. I only have today. Even tomorrow, I cannot predict what will happen. Will I be alive? Perhaps, but not granted. Will I have time and money for this project after a year, 2 or 3? Perhaps, but not granted. And this boat needs water even to complete repairs. I know nothing about how it handles on the water. Are the ballasts placed correctly? Does it need more? How are hydraulics working under load? How is the shaft propeller vibration? How is the hydraulic cooling system working? How this radiator cooled engine will work under load? And more and more. And that can only be answered when the boat is eventually in the water. I have seen many boat projects with good intentions, eventually abandoned, with lot of money and effort put into the project, and boat just remains on the shore, never reaching the water. This is not my intention. I know I have today. I know I perhaps have tomorrow. And I want the tomorrow to be the one to remember. Boats don't last forever. Neither do we. For me, it would be enough just to have a small tiny success. To see it on the water once again. To feel the vibrations of the propeller, with water being pushed against the hull. To hear the hydraulics engaging in a rhythmical tone. To feel the steering wheel in my hands. And to let my imagination taking me far away, farther than this boat will ever reach. To hear new stories the boat would tell me. And to go at least on a single adventure. And even if it would be just a single small adventure, I would be happy. All boats, on water or on the dry land, have so many stories to tell. So many fulfilled or broken dreams. So many adventures, now hiding under those slowly decaying hulls, which like a faithful dog are waiting for their owner, who will never return. And when you listen long enough, many boats start to tell the stories themselves. This steel sailboat, named Wanderer, belonged to a man who had sailed around the world. Not in this boat though, but I'm sure this boat would have many stories to tell as well. Like the ones he told me how they were fighting off the pirates near the African coast who tried to steal the motor for the dinghy at night. Now he is sailing in eternal waters, and the boat is still waiting for some miracle. But given the way it is starting to look, it looks like it is wanting to join its owner. This boat, now covered with plastic cover, is a two-masted wooden schooner, which was built by a single man for many years. When he finally completed it, he was in his 80s. He was very nice and polite gentleman. He told me the stories how he was melting lead from rifle rounds for the ballast of the boat to save on costs. He invited me to a tour of the boat as well, and I was amazed how all this can be achieved without any help. Only 1 month after telling me those stories, he passed away peacefully, after returning from a sailing trip. This nice sailboat has been to United States and back, now slowly rotting away, hoping that one day it would sail again. The same marina which my boat is in was the one which saw the catamaran Kaupo leaving on the second trip around the world, but it never returned home. Last contact with the crew was lost near the Australian coast, and no remains of the vessel were ever found. Only trailers from the 2 hulls remained in the marina, as a reminder about those who went into the sea and never came back.